Hello everybody. October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we thought it would be a good idea to share you some insight about breast cancer. Here I am, Dr. Nidhi Tandon, a consultant in medical oncology at Mazumdar Shaw Cancer Center. I have along with me Dr. Mansi Khanderia, who is also a consultant in medical oncology, and Dr. Jayant Bhargav, who is a consultant in radiation oncology. I will start with the basic question: what is cancer? What is breast cancer in particular? And what are the risk factors for breast cancer? Cancer is basically an abnormal growth of cells where the cell division is much more than the cell death. So, a lot of abnormal cells come together and form a lump. If that lump stays in place for a long time, it spreads to other organs, and that is when the disease becomes advanced or what we call as metastatic. If this happens in breast, that is what is known as breast cancer. The risk factors for breast cancer include obesity, not having a child at a late stage, certain hormonal treatments. More importantly, though it has been from a long time, but we have recently found that there are certain genetic mutations which predispose you to have a risk for development of breast cancer. In particular, BRCA1 and 2 mutations are the genes which can increase the risk of developing breast cancer or ovarian cancer. So, if you have 2 or 3 family members who have breast or ovarian cancer, or you have a female member who has bilateral breast cancer or both breast and ovarian cancer, or you have a male relative who still has a breast cancer at a young age, you are at a risk of having a genetic problem which leads to breast cancer, and you should be screened for such reasons. Now I'll ask Dr. Mansi, what is the screening modality which is used in general population and for such patients which we told?
So screening is a test which is done in a normal person who doesn't have any symptoms to pick up an abnormality early. So in cancer, screening is done for multiple cancers, but it's very well accepted and a part of guidelines for breast cancer in many countries. What happens in breast cancer is screening is that X-ray of the breast, called as mammogram, is used as a screening modality for most patients. I would not call them patients because this is done in people who do not have cancer, who are at least not known to have cancer. Mammogram is to be done in the woman who is at risk of cancer or at a particular age. So generally age is the biggest risk factor for breast cancer. So older women are more likely to have breast cancer than younger women, though in India we are seeing a lot of young women suffering from breast cancer. But most of the guidelines recommend that screening can start after the age of 50 in people who have average risk of breast cancer. So generally, most of the breast cancers are seen in patients who do not have a high risk for breast cancer. Just 15% of breast cancers are known to happen in run in the families or be a hereditary form of breast cancer. So these patients are at a higher risk. The average population is at 15% risk or less than 15% risk of developing breast cancer. So for these people, the normal screening modality is mammogram. It should be done once every year or at least once every 2 years, starting from the age of 50 up to the age of 75. And in patients who are at a higher risk of breast cancer, this has to be started early on or at least 10 years before the youngest member of the family had breast cancer. And for those who are known to have BRCA mutations or other hereditary breast cancer mutations, they have to be referred to a specialized clinic where the screening is done at a very regular interval, and there are multiple other options which are offered to these patients because they are at a very high risk of developing breast cancer to reduce the breast cancer. But just to summarize, every woman over the age of 50 should try to get a mammogram every 2 years. Before the age of 50, though it is not recommended in all countries, but breast self-examination is something which every woman should do. Right from the age of 20 years, maybe every month, the same day of every month, preferably after the menses, and just examine your own breast looking in the mirror. There are multiple YouTube videos which you could check to see the method of that. It just takes 2 minutes. Every month, 2 minutes, just to know how your breast actually feels like, so that you can yourself pick up something abnormal as soon as it is visible or palpable in your breast, so that you seek attention as soon as something abnormal is felt in your breast. That's the idea of breast self-examination. Moving forward, so I will just say that most patients in India are picked up after they have really big lumps, and that's the reason the cure rates are not as high as the Western countries, where most cancers are picked up because of screening. So ideally, we would want a screening mammogram to pick up a very small lump so that it is picked up in an early stage. When you come to us with big lumps, generally the stage is quite advanced and the cure rates are less. They are still quite high, but an early breast cancer is easier to treat and the cure rate is very, very high. So once a patient is diagnosed to have or has a suspicious mammogram lesion, Dr. Jayant, how would you word them up and how would you diagnose and stage them?
Yeah, so I think, like you just mentioned, most of our patients here, they actually come to the clinic, they come to the OPD with a palpable lump in the breast. In other countries, it's usually picked up on the mammogram. In either case, whether it's picked up on the screening mammogram or if the patient or if the person herself is able to palpate the lump, the first thing to do would probably to go out, seek help. You don't have to be scared, just seek help. Just go and meet the doctor once. The first thing to do is for the doctor will probably take a complete history. They will examine, they will do a good examination of both the breasts, the armpits, the neck. That's very important. After that, we would have to follow up the screening mammogram with something called the diagnostic mammogram. It's very similar. We probably do a couple of more views. It'll probably take a little more time than the regular mammogram. In a few patients, we may add other images like the ultrasound if it's absolutely necessary. Following this, the next thing to do would be to plan for a biopsy, for a core biopsy of the lump. There are different techniques of taking this, but basically we want to put in a small needle. It's not going to be extremely painful or anything. It's a fairly small needle. This will be placed into the lump. We take a little bit of tissue outside and we send it to the lab. So basically, this will be sent to the pathology lab. This will take a couple of days. We will also ask for a couple of extra tests to be done on that same biopsy specimen, which is called IHC. These are special stains in a way. So this will form the biopsy and the IHC. Just to complete this, we will also have to probably order for a couple of other investigations, just basic blood investigations. We will also have to assess the functioning of the liver, the kidney, of the heart. If we suspect that the disease is a little on the advanced side, we may follow up these images with certain additional scans, such as either the ultrasound of the abdomen, a CT scan of the chest. We may ask for a bone scan just to make sure the bones are okay. Off late, probably the simplest thing to do would be to get a whole body PET scan. So this is a whole body scan right from the top of your head to well below the knees. This will give us an indication of the exact size of the lesion in the breast, whether it has spread to neighboring structures, whether it is spread elsewhere to other distant areas. So I think this is a fairly simple scan. It doesn't take too long, just about an hour and a half. So once we get information from all these tests, we start looking at certain parameters, the exact size of the tumor, whether the nodes in the armpit or the neck, are they involved, or and also whether the cancer cells have spread to other areas. So we look at these three categories, and then based on all the findings, we can actually stage the patient into different groups, stage 1 to stage 4. So I think so once this happens, we stage them, and that's when we look at the treatment modalities. Yes.
So, as regards to the treatment, as Dr. Jayant just mentioned, that based on the staging investigations like CT scan, bone scan, and PET scan, we decide the stage of the patient. An early stage would be in the breast or maximally spread to the armpit lymph nodes, but a later or an advanced or a metastatic stages when the breast cancer has gone beyond the breast and armpit into the brain, lung, liver, etc., or the bones. Based on that, we decide the treatment. If it is in the early stage, we will operate and remove the tumor, and then the patient, according to the report of the tumor, will need additional chemotherapy or radiotherapy or both. In some situations, when the tumor is big or the armpit lymph nodes are involved, we will prefer to give the patient chemotherapy before the surgery so that the tumor is shrunken, and we are also able to prognosticate how effective is our chemotherapy going to be in destroying these cancer cells, and then operate the patient. Once the operation is done, then depending upon the reports of the biopsy, further treatment including radiotherapy, hormonal therapy, and targeted therapy will be required. If the patient has spread of the disease to other organs, then we give a treatment with an intent to keep the disease under control, and this treatment again consists of chemotherapy, hormone therapy, or targeted therapy, and it can be discussed in detail, but the most important points that I will like to make is: number one, chemotherapy is not painful, radiotherapy is not painful, and all of us have patients who are taking these treatments and going to their work like all other normal people. And secondly, not only they increase the life of such patient to years now with special treatments, but they also improve the quality of life, bringing them as closer to their normal routine as possible. So I am talking about these special treatments and what are the special modalities of systemic therapy. Dr. Mansi, if you like to tell us.
Yeah. So initially, Dr. Jayant said that we would send the biopsy for IHC, right? So breast cancer is not just one type of disease. We have multiple types of breast cancers, mainly the hormone positive, hormone negative, HER2 positive, and triple negative. I know this sounds too technical, but it's important to know that all breast cancers, even with the same stage, may not be treated the same way, because every subtype and every stage have to be taken into consideration before we plan the sequence of treatment. So like Dr. Nidhi said, upfront surgery should be done only if it has not really spread a lot to the armpit and if the tumor size is small. We have very good data now for at least certain subtypes of breast cancer that giving treatment before surgery in the form of injections, it could be just chemotherapy or it could be chemotherapy along with targeted therapies when the tumor is HER2 positive. And we have evolving data where maybe in the future immunotherapy along with chemotherapy could be a part of neoadjuvant treatment. So whatever is given before the surgery is neoadjuvant. So I would say before planning your treatment, try to get an opinion from the surgical oncologist, medical oncologist, and radiation oncologist, or go to a center where there is a tumor board or multi-speciality, multidisciplinary team meeting before planning the sequence of every patient. It could be that just taking an opinion from one person would not give you the entire picture, and also insist on a biopsy instead of just FNSE before you are planned for a surgery. These are very important points. It will help you in not just planning your treatment, it will also help you in prolonging your life and in planning your life further. So coming back to the main point, along with chemotherapy, I'm sure all of us know that chemotherapy are injections that are used to kill cancer cells. But we really need to get over the fear of chemotherapy. Chemotherapy does not mean like it is a death warrant. Chemotherapy can help in curing all cancers and improving the survival for many cancers. So be open to chemotherapy. Along with chemotherapy, we now have newer modalities, especially for hormone receptor positive cancer. When the cancer is very small, probably the only subset of breast cancer where you could get away without any chemotherapy, just a hormone tablet after the surgery would be enough. And the other types of cancers would most likely, if the lump is bigger than 1 centimeter, most likely need some form of injections. We have targeted therapy, which is for HER2 positive breast cancer. There is research going on for further subtypes, because now we know what drives a cancer in certain types. So the more mutations we get to know, the more targeted therapy options we will get. So in HER2 positive breast cancer, we now have injections which just go and attack the cells which have HER2 receptor. So trastuzumab, pertuzumab, TDM1, there are multiple drugs. You don't need to know all the details. I'm sure the doctor who would be treating you would explain this much better. But there are targeted therapies available. They are slightly expensive, but still very much affordable even for Indian patients, and they should be considered. Besides that, for advanced breast cancer where surgery probably is not possible and would not really benefit when it has already spread to many other organs, we have again multiple agents. For hormone receptor positive, we have CDK4/6 inhibitors, we have PIK3 targeted agents, we have multiple agents which are just simple tablets which could prolong life and the quality of life to years. Earlier, a stage 4 breast cancer would barely live for 1 year. Now, most breast cancers, be it hormone receptor positive, HER2 receptor positive, they go on to live for 3 years, 5 years, maybe even longer. And the only subset where we do need more research and probably more survival is triple negative breast cancer, but that too has many new options coming up. There are tablets called as olaparib which are used in BRCA mutation patients, which can be given. But without confusing any further, basically there are a spectrum of options available for all types of breast cancers, and do not lose hope. Whatever be the stage, we can treat, we can control, and we can improve life if the treatment is sought at the right time. And I just briefed you about systemic treatment options, so tablets and injections, which help in controlling the cancer. Dr. Jayant will brief us about the radiotherapy options. That also we have many newer modalities which can help in controlling the cancer. Dr. Jayant.
Yeah. So just for completion's sake, like Dr. Mansi and Dr. Nidhi have mentioned earlier, please ensure that you've met the surgeon, you've met the medical oncologist, the radiation oncologist. It has to be a combined decision. It has to be a team's decision, tumor board decision. There are basically two kinds of surgery that can happen. We either remove the entire breast, that's called mastectomy, or we do a breast conserving surgery, which is BCS. A majority of these patients will end up requiring radiation at some point in their therapy, at some point in their cancer care. Almost all patients who've undergone breast conserving surgery, BCS, will require radiation as a part of their therapy. Some of the patients who've already undergone a mastectomy may not require radiation. A majority of them will still require this. Radiation is nothing but the use of high energy X-rays. These are ionizing radiation, just high energy X-rays. It's very similar to the X-rays that we use for X-rays, chest X-rays, CT scans. It's the same X-ray, but it's of a much higher energy. That's the only difference. There's absolutely no relation to electricity, none of that. It's absolutely painless. It's got very few side effects, radiation. The earlier days, we had crude machines, we didn't really have these sort of advancements in radiation, and they ended up having quite a few side effects, problematic side effects. But now we've come fairly far. We use only computerized techniques. So we try and target only the chest, or maybe the breast which is there. We may also include tiny parts of the neck, the armpit, if it's absolutely necessary. Since we've come to this stage where we usually offer only computerized techniques. These are the 3D CRT, the IMRT, and VMAT. So basically, we're able to get a very good dose to the chest wall or to the breast, and a very low dose ends up going into the lung or into the heart. So the possibility of having long-term side effects after radiation with respect to side effects in the lungs or heart is negligible. Also, patients who've got cancers on the left side, left breast, we've got advanced techniques in order to give radiation, only when they take a deep breath, so that in doing so, the heart moves away from the chest wall, the lung moves away, and we end up giving a very, very small dose to the heart and lung. And also, just for completion's sake, I think patients in whom the cancer is already spread to either the bone or to the brain, there are multiple specialized techniques of radiation called stereotactic radiosurgery. Of course, there are certain indications to give this, but even these are extremely quick, painless, harmless. It's just treatment's over in 15 minutes, hardly any side effects. So please reach out. I think we've covered most of our topics.
Yes, the only thing I would like to say at the end is, as Dr. Mansi mentioned, even if you are not able to go to a doctor, please conduct breast self-examination and go and see a doctor if you have a lump, especially if it is painless. And if detected at an early stage, you can be completely cured of cancer. That is most important. Thank you.
So be aware and seek care whenever you feel that there is even a minute abnormality, without being afraid or without having any kind of a stigma to reach out to a doctor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.